Hello, welcome back to yet another video. Today we've got a new one. We've got the AMG CLA 45S and the estate form. This thing is a beauty. I'm a fan of estate, so personally I think this car looks fantastic. It's got this shooting star design to it, from the front window to the rear pillar. Basically it's just this beautiful shape. I do really like the design of this car. I'm a big fan of estates, as you probably know. This thing is the equivalent of an A45, just longer. Obviously you can get this in a 4-door, normal like a saloon, or the estate like this one right here. It's got the same engine as a A45, the inline 4-cylinder 2-liter turbo, and it's pushing about 420 horsepower and around 370 foot-pounds of torque. Plenty of power for basically a daily. It's plenty fast and it's very agile on the B roads, which we're going to see in a bit. Up front we've got massive brakes with a floating caliper in the rear. It's wrapped in, the tires are wrapped in Pilot Sports 4S's, one of my favorite tires, if not the favorite tire out there. In the interior, nice and simple and beautiful, of course. You've got the yellow stitching with silver accents and leather. The carbon buckets, well, no carbon buckets, just the bucket seats in here. Beautiful yellow stitching, of course, adjustable in a million ways. Very nice seats, very supportive. I do love this. Of course, we've got the leather and Alcantara steering wheel, but we're going to get to this in a second. Of course, you got the boneless doors in the front and in the rear, so it's fully boneless. Give me some boneless windows. In the rear we've got the massive boot. I mean, this thing is ginormous. This is a photography backpack, and I mean, if I push this all the way, you can fit probably like 6 of them, if not more. If you double stack them, god, I don't even know, it's like 15, 20 at least in here. You can fit a lot of stuff. You've got this cover so people can't see through the windows. That said, the windows are very well tinted, so you won't be able to see anything anyway. The only problem with it, this lip here is quite high, so when it comes to pulling stuff out, you will need to be pulling it out. You can't just slide it out, so I guess there's that drawback. Got the quad pipes in the rear. They're not actually pipes, they're just bumper holes, because you've got some pipes, but they're further in the car. You can't actually see them out here. The car does sound quite lovely, to be honest with you. I do like the way it sounds. I think a lot of it is pumped in through the speakers, but what do I care? I'm just driving the car. In the rear, there's not that much space, to be honest with you. I am 6 foot bang on, and speaking of banging on, I'm not actually hitting my head up here, but it's very close. I might be able to do fairly long distances in this. The knee room is, yeah, like, as you can see, I'm hitting the chair in front of me. If I scoot back and I sit quite upright, and if the person in front wouldn't mind moving a bit more forwards, it would be all right. This is basically on the same level with this seat, which is my seating position, and this is basically the room that I have. It's okay. Like, I wouldn't want to go on 4 or 5 hour long journeys in this, but it's okay. It's genuinely not too bad. You got this central armrest here with interesting cup holder situation. There you go. You can chill if you lean like that. You can probably chill here, no problem. The suspension is quite firm, so you will be bouncing around. Yeah, lovely looking thing. As I've mentioned, I'm a huge fan of these shooting brake estate situations. I do love me an estate. The front of this car looks very nice and aggressive. I do like the front. Yeah, it's a very nice looking front. It's very muscular. It's very robust. I don't know what to say. It looks like a Giga Chad. I do like that. Let's pull the bonnet latch so we can look underneath. What should be on the other side? No, it is here. Got it. By the way, if it's windy, I apologize. It's quite windy today. Where are you? There he is. There is a bunch of leaves. There's the 4-banger engine. Let me clear this out. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of leaves. George Detailing Services. Yeah, so this is the 4-banger, as I said, with a huge turbo, hybridized turbo, F1 technology, blah blah blah, all that jazz. The car handles really good. It pulls fairly well. You do need to be quite high up in the RPMs to have all that power. You need to be over 4,500, almost 5,000 RPM to actually feel the power of this engine, which is fine. But yeah, just it's a 4-banger feel, so they're all kind of the same. If you have been driving anything with 4 cylinders and a big turbo, you know exactly what to expect. I like this strut here, AMG strut. It's quite interesting. The engine is sitting in front of the wheels, which is not ideal. That said though, it doesn't understeer at all. I haven't managed to make this car understeer. I think this was a bad idea. I was making a lot of noise. Yeah, I haven't managed to make this car understeer. Then again, it's got the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system, so it is quite good. It does have a drift mode. I haven't tried it, and I'm not going to try it because it's always funky with these cars when you put them in drift mode. It feels weird. I don't like doing that. Same thing with Audis. I don't like drifting an Audi. But yeah, I think that's it for the outside. Let's jump inside real quick and we talk about it in here because it's nice and quiet. Yeah, so in here the interior is quite nice and aesthetic. Nothing too crazy. Of course, you got the AMG design here with the shelf, which is nice. You go ambient light there around here in the doors and the footwells. It's quite nicely lit up during the night, especially during the night. You'll see a bit later, hopefully. This central console situation, I don't know what the deal is with this thing, because obviously you can't put a phone in there. It doesn't fit. This is a 16 max, so it doesn't actually fit. I'm not sure what that's for. We've got storage space in here, cup holders, charge your phone, whatever. The typical Mercedes steering wheel with 4 spokes and the dial, so you can shift into Sport, Sport Plus, and then you've got the other options here. Let me actually just start the car. The startup is nothing to write home about, so I'm not, as I was saying, the startup is nothing to write home about, so don't even worry about that. The infotainment system is the same good old infotainment system from Mercedes. I think this is the slightly older generation, because of course it's a 2024 car, but you've got all the information here. Whatever you press here, you can turn off acoustic warning and lane assist, which I do every single time. And besides that, I just use Apple CarPlay every time I get in one of these cars. So that is basically it from the inside here. I say we take this bad boy for a drive and talk more as we drive, because the driving dynamic of this car is very, very good. So let's do it. So of course the only appropriate way to drive this car on a B-road is in track mode. Everything turned off, meaning traction. So, well, it's not off, it's in sport mode right now, but it doesn't really make a difference if it's off or in sport mode. The car won't slip enough for you to actually catch a drift or whatever, so sport mode is plenty. Of course, we got another overpass. I'm not going to lower the windows. Open that. I think it sounds pretty good. Honestly, on twisty roads like this, such a great car. Obviously, we've got a bit of traffic now, but it's going to clear up in a second, I'm sure, and we can actually enjoy the car. Of course, until you meet the Kia doing 30 and a 60. As mentioned, these are exactly the kind of roads you enjoy in a CLA 45S. Nice, windy, technical, beautiful roads. The car is super sharp. Something's on fire there, big time. Is very much on rails. The front end, it's always really sharp on these cars. Same thing with the A45, CLA 45, same thing really. Fantastic little machine. Sort of drawback of these cars is the lack of power from the engine at low RPM. If you're not over 5,000, almost 4.5, 5,000, around there, you're not getting that much power out of them, which can be a bit disappointing. But if you learn where the power band is and you adapt your driving style to it, so always being higher up in the rev range, you'll be more than fine driving this. The power is good. I mean, at no point on B roads do I feel like I don't have enough power. It's plenty good. It sounds so good. I don't know what it is about those snaps when you upshift. It sounds so bloody good. I really do enjoy it. Steering, as mentioned, very sharp. Very good. Slight hint of understeer. For British roads, the suspension in its harsh setting feels a bit too harsh. The car still handles good and it's predictable, but I'm bouncing around so much. And you might say, but why don't you change it, but in the softer setting? Because I've got issues, guys. I like my cars to feel like an F1 car. Like this, it's really easy to enjoy this car. It does exactly what you need it to do. You know, the front end is sharp, it's got plenty of power, and then once you're on it, it keeps going, it keeps pulling. The engine is still beefy, it still likes to pull, it still likes to play. So honestly, it's such a nice car for a B road. It's designed for it, it's made for it. And with that, I think we are reaching the conclusion and the end of this video. I do hope you've enjoyed my review. Hopefully I've been able to tell you guys what it feels like, give you a better idea of the car if you're considering to buying it and whatnot. So thank you very much for watching, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.